Shoot, shoot.
Did you tag me?
That's right. That's right. We are the women. I couldn't bring myself to say girl, cuz. But we are the women. This is Women's History Month. And on Massage Table Talk, we are celebrating all month long women in wellness. And today I have a friend, coach. I have two coaches, two friends that are coaches on in different realms, in different fields. I have business coach Tiffany Lymon, who is joining me all month long as co-host. And tonight I have Coach Renee. Renee
Hey.
is part of my next level family, and I am so glad to have her on this evening to talk to us about health, fitness, life, wellness for high achieving women over the age of 40. Woo,
Woo.
life is different
Yeah.
at 40.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen in the chat? All of the 40 and over crew that are on here. I tell you, life changed when I hit
Yes,
40.
yes, it
So
does.
Renee is going to help us kind of figure some things out, get our life right. Um, get some balance, with our mind, body, and soul, because everything is out of whack. Thank you, Renee, for joining us this
I'm,
evening.
I'm so excited to be here.
How
Can you
are you?
tell?
So
I'm
I
doing
want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
okay. Where do I start? So, well, I'm originally from Jamaica. Moved here when I was 14. Went to high school a little bit. Actually, lived in Canada for about 2 years. Then I moved back to the States, joined the military. Retired from the military in 2017. Opened up my own fitness studio in Williamsburg, Virginia. Moved here to Georgia during the pandemic, and actually got certified as a life and health coach on top of being a personal trainer, and just been doing that ever since. On top of getting into everything else, chambers, because I just can't do one thing.
I think all three of us share
Yes.
that
We just can't
sentiment.
sit still.
We cannot sit still. Even more reason why we need to
Yeah.
have this talk right
Exactly.
Yep,
now.
that's why I talk to myself a lot now, girl. You need to sit down and take some of your own advice.
So is it safe to say that your military career kind of got you active in fitness and um, health and coaching? Is it safe to say that, or was that something you
No,
always?
I've always been an athlete. So my dad and my mom were both swimmers. My dad more so was the biggest influence in that. So I can't tell you when I started swimming. I just knew when I realized I've been a swimmer already all along. All of my brothers and sisters were all swimmers. That's where we started. And then
That's that
when I
Jamaican life. Don't they just throw you in the water and say swim?
like go for it,
Right, right.
you'll be fine.
Right.
That's how y'all learn.
Yeah. Yep. And then the military though, I think the military just really brought me into who I am. Like just I got to learn a little bit more how about I love anything physical. I love physical activity. And with the military, it's always like a competition. Not for me, I'm always competing. And it's not so to the point where I have to beat you, Kiani, or I have to beat you, Tiffany. It's just I'm always trying to beat myself, be better. If I did when I first got in, I was a sprinter, right? And we have to do a 2 mile run. This hurt my heart. I couldn't do a 2 mile run. Like, what? I cannot do 2 miles. Dying, dying, but it crushed me.
That's long distance for sprinters.
Yes, yes, crushed me. But it wouldn't happen another time. I bet you, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. I was not competing against anybody, but that time, making
Right.
that time. Yeah.
You versus you. So it sounds like you've been high achieving all your life.
Yes, our coach, one of our coaches,
Uh-huh.
she asked me one time, she says, have you ever been, can you remember a time you've been still? And I was like, I can remember one time it's because they told me I had to be. But my daughter was premature. She was 28 weeks. And they're like, the doctor just flat out, this is how you get to me. She flat out said, look, if you move, she will die. I was like, okay, I will lay here in this bed
Right.
and just suck it up. I'm good.
And that was the only
And
time
that
that you
was probably the only time that I obeyed. That I actually obeyed.
obeyed.
Yeah.
So just in listening to just you talk about um having trouble just being still, being a high achieving woman yourself, what what can you say, or what have you identified in your work with high achieving women that we struggle with,
So
that gets in the way of us sitting still, or even getting to the places or the goals, or the things that we want to do, but it's just so much stuff. What gets in our way?
yeah, so from when you look at it from a like a holistic standpoint, I'll just call out four things and then probably explain it. So time, like changes in our bodies, like our hormones, our mindset, and just not enough accountability or support. And time, because we do have so much going on, our careers, our businesses, we may have kids, so all of that we're competing with being there, and then community activities. Let's not stop that. Let's not add the additional things on top of trying to find time for ourselves, to be healthier, to have a healthier lifestyle. And then changes with our bodies, as we alluded to. 40 is like a whole it's like, you
The
know
whole thing.
changes just sneak. You know what? You go to bed at 39 and you're like, oh, this is great. 40, you're like, wait a minute, why am I hurting? I just laid down. Like, woke up in pain. you know? It
Or you can't get to sleep. How
That's
about
it.
that?
That one. That one.
right. I know, looking at the ceiling like, come on.
Why am I still here, laying here doing nothing?
And then sleep
You're reading a book, Tiffany.
You right. You
for
right.
real. But like, even with that, with our hormones, we because we have to kind of account for those shifts. A lot of times we don't get the time to exercise. We don't have the time to exercise, so our muscles atrophy, right? We may experience a lot of joint pain, just a lot of additional stuff, because we don't prioritize or make the time to get, give our body what it needs. So mindset, this should be an easy one, right? So besides the time and the hormones, now it's working on our heads, right? We're like thinking, we know that we need to do something, right? We need to make a shift, but like, we may think, okay, we're too old for this. It's too late, you know. What are some? It's how we see ourselves, what we feel about ourselves, and that's unmotivating, because we're not speaking life or positives. We're not making positive affirmation or speaking positively about our body.
Mhm.
So that causes a lack of motivation, because we're like, what's the use, right? And then like the lack of support, even with going back to the time, the family and all that. You may not have, some people, they don't have a significant other or a spouse that they can juggle responsibilities with. When I was in the military, I was a captain. Sometimes that called for me to work late, right? And then I have my son who has football, my daughter has gymnastics, all while I still have to be at work, right? So I'm juggling, and I don't have the support to actually get the time in. I used to put that stuff on my calendar, and it just stays on the calendar because I didn't prioritize it, right? I would be like, you know what, I'll just get to it later. And that's what we do. We put ourselves last, right? We're like, you know what, I'll just get to it later. I'll just, let me go get the kids. Let me go get my son from school. So it's just so much. So those are some of the issues that I think, the primary issues that most women, high achieving women, or women over 40, we're at the point where, like, we just don't have the time for this.
So,
Right. You
So
have
so I'm
much.
thinking of the four. So we're talking about time, hormones, mindset,
and
and
support. I have a
accountability.
question on support.
Okay.
Can I ask a question on support? All right. So my question is like a piggyback question. So you were talking about like the support, and we have different types of support, right? So you have your
Mhm.
family, like that obviously they need to be on board so that they can understand, like everything can shift in the house. But like
Mhm.
for you in your role, when you're working with high achieving women who we got like two blocks, like one is we don't know how to rest, right?
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
two is we've got all those, it's
Other things.
all
Yeah.
these things that have to be done, right? So as that person that is a support and accountability person, how do you, kind of help us to navigate around that? Because when you're high achieving, like, and somebody tells you you just need to sit down somewhere, or you're doing too much, you need to let that go. Like for us, a lot of
Yeah.
times we immediate wall goes up, like especially if the person that's talking to you is not also high achieving. Let me add that piece in there. So that
Yeah.
you sort of feel like they don't understand like me, who I am, what I can do. And so then we put that wall up. And so how do you help to like break through that wall to be able to say, like, listen, like you really do need to rest,
Right.
or you really do need to carve out this time to work out, like to stop working and work out?
Yeah. So most of the time, our responses to, like somebody saying, you need to, you need to, you need to, is a surface level response because you're receiving it as a surface level comment anyway, right? So as a coach, based on what you told me that you want to work on, that's what I put back to you.
Mhm.
And I help you, I actually let you walk through that, right? And then help you to recognize how much you need it, and then encourage you to prioritize it, right? Like, how badly do you want this? Especially if you come and you say, like, you know what, I just got told that I have high blood pressure, or, I need to lose weight for whatever reason. Now that, to some people could be life threatening, right? So, how high on the priority scale are you willing to, how much are you willing to invest in yourself? Because let's face it, at the end of the day, when you take, not to say that we are the end all be all, right? But when you take us out of the equation, that's a big piece of the pie that's missing. My husband, he does a lot, but when I'm not around, it's like he's like, I'm so stressed out. So, you see, you get that balance, and sometimes you don't even realize it until the help is gone. You're like, dang, I'm like beat right now. But back to your question, it's really recognizing the priority, and you making yourself a priority. And I actually make you commit. Like, I use make loosely, okay? We sit there. I can't make nobody do nothing. But I strongly suggest, and then and I let you say, okay, at this time, every Monday at this time, after I do this, is when I'm going to work out. So tie the routine after we figure out what you like to do. Because I don't really, a lot of women are not big on strength training. I love it. That's my go-to, right? That's my go-to, right?
I don't know who she talking about on here.
Yeah.
Listen, I love my
Yeah.
cardio. I love my
And I
cardio.
love my weights. I love my weights.
Yeah, but and a lot of people, that's their default. They go towards cardio. Nothing wrong with it, but you have to do both. You
Right.
got to do a healthy mix of it, because if not, your bones are gonna you're gonna experience muscle atrophy,
Mhm.
right? You lose bone density. So you want to have a healthy mix. I do a lot. Like, I go hiking, I go swimming, I lift weights, I run. I enjoy running, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
I just don't do enough of it. But and I recently, not recently, but I started yoga a few years ago, fell off, but got back on with it. But yoga is no joke. Especially
It
for,
was.
like, somebody like me, like, just all muscle tight and everything. Like, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But just to answer your question, it's just to really help them, recognize, or identify how much of a priority is, being healthy to them. And we use healthy loosely, but it's really important that we prioritize our health, because without it, we are really no good to anyone
Mhm.
else.
Mhm. I love that.
So I guess, like, so I am of the four. I would probably say time is my main issue. Um, I don't know what the heck my hormones doing, so I just kind of let I just kind of let them
Just
be,
go
right?
with it.
I just
Just
I
go
just
with
I just roll with it right now. I know I'm not in the thick of it, so I'm good.
Yep.
Mindset. Um, I think I have a pretty, like, once I get my head focused in on something, then I'm good. Support. I mean, I can work it by myself. I don't necessarily need to go to the gym, because sometimes all of that extra is distracting, and I hate fighting for a machine. So I don't mind, hunkering down and doing it myself. but I do recognize too that I do turn help away,
Yeah.
so to
Yeah.
speak. Um, because I think last night we were texting about something, and you and
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany has offered help on several different things to help me.
I'm like, you need to jump on a Zoom. You need to. I
Right,
also
right. Because I was
told her to
offering
go get
several
fresh
options
air.
for
She
that.
was like, not doing that either.
And she had said something, and I just texted, nah, like NAW, right? Because,
Yeah.
but I recognized in that moment, after I typed that, I was like, that was
Yeah.
probably rude.
Yeah.
She was trying to offer, help.
Yeah.
But
And I
like you
want to
said,
add
in
to
that
that.
moment,
Yeah.
like, it's like, it's kind of hard because at 40 and high achieving and juggling the balls,
Yes.
it's like, what
Yeah.
help can you really, like, other than being me and doing it
Yeah.
all, like, what other help
Yeah. And see
can you offer? But something is still better than nothing, right?
Yeah, and the support, it's not necessarily like you run a business, right? And you may, if I'm speaking accurately, sometimes we're like, I'll do it. I'll do it, right? I got it, right? But even and what I've had to realize is if someone offers me help, and they may not do it exactly the way I like to do it, but the thing is, it's a big help when they have the ability to do it. If they do it at least 90, 85, 90%, you know but we just have to recognize that sometimes, okay, step away and let somebody else do this, right? When I first started my business, I was doing everything. I was the website designer. I was the email scheduler. I was everything. And that's a form of support, right? Because then it allows you to step away from your business so that you can do other things for yourself, right? It's just us really kind of relinquishing that control, right? And knowing that things are not going to fall apart. The mindset piece, I could tell you already know. I've had enough coaches. So I'm getting there, so I'm
We
away.
all are. we
Yes, way better now, at even recognizing some of
right.
my own challenges, So the mindset is ongoing. Everything is just ongoing. The biggest thing is being
Mhm.
aware of your tendencies, being aware of your default, and just really adjusting those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
I think
I agree with
I
that.
think
I think
aware.
mine would be support. Well, I think I'm going to say support, but maybe in a different way. So I'll talk about how it helps. So for me, I used to own a gym, and when I owned the gym was when I was the most successful, because never been an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
never worked out until I needed to, right? Health reasons, I
Right.
needed to work
Yeah.
out. Had no desire, anything like that. Um, but what happened was, for me, it was not just so much of I have to work out with people. It was
Mm-hmm.
more so that I'm working out and people are depending on me.
Yeah.
So I have to show up. Like I have to show up at in the class. Sometimes I have to show up to be next to a person in
Yeah.
class while someone else is teaching because it's something new that nobody wants to do. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on, let's all do it together. I can't tell you how many times
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, let's go to this person's class or that person's, let's
Yeah.
just try something new. So
Yeah.
for me, the accountability piece is not so much just the community part, but it's like remembering that sometimes me working out inspires someone else to
Right.
do
Right.
something.
It's
And
more than just you. It's more than just you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So that piece I think is more motivating. And this year I'm like, my goal is to not do that, right? Like to figure out how to be motivated just on your own. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to do with anybody else. And I found that's harder. It's easier
Yeah.
for me to work out
Yes.
for you than it is
Yes.
for me to work out for me, which
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks.
Yes. Yes. It's funny how we can show up for other people, but we won't show up for ourselves, right?
Exactly.
And we all do it. Like a client tells me they want to meet at 5, and I'm like, dang, 5. But I'm up.
Mhm.
But let me have to get up for 5 o'clock. You got to get off now. So I've been intentional about my habits. I'm read Have you guys read Atomic Habits by James Clear? Oh my goodness. So I'm implementing, and that stuff is like fire. Like, for real. Like, oh my goodness, it's made such a difference. And because I'm being intentional about
Right.
it. So if I tell you I get up at 3:30 in the morning, but I'm going to bed early. I'm making it a priority. I put the phone on focus, do not disturb. At least by 9:30, I want to be in the bed. So like be like 9 o'clock, I'm prepping. 9:30, I'm like out. And it doesn't take much. And it's funny that we don't realize how tired we are until our head hits the pillow. Like for real. So I've been getting up at 3:30, and I've been, so now I have more time to meditate, write in my journal, catch up on homework, work out all before like 7 o'clock. Right? So I
That's
have all.
still a long day.
A
Yes.
long day.
3:30.
Yes. But I get
Woo.
enough sleep. I get enough sleep, so I'm able to do it. On
Right.
Sundays, I get up a little later, prep my meals for the week, which I found works so much simpler. Like by 9:30, I'm done. I start at 6:30, and I just started this only because I was like, you know what? I'm going to set my intention to follow through. My biggest thing is to do this for 30 days because I know
Mhm.
it'll start
It'll become
becoming.
a habit.
Right.
Yes, it'll start becoming a habit, so I've been successful, been working out consistently, and I
Mhm.
just feel so good. And it's just rewarding when you're like, man, I did that. I did that. Yay, me.
So you created the time.
Yes.
You have the mindset. We ain't gonna talk about the hormones because they
Yeah,
doing
we just
they
work
living
with
their life.
the
They
hormones.
living their own life.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you have the support.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when we were talking, it came up about strength training and cardio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you said a healthy mix.
Yeah.
What what's a healthy mix?
Okay. So, strength training we definitely need, right? And it really depends on a person, right? Cuz I don't it really depends on a person. I won't use me as an example. We all have different goals that we're trying to achieve. So, and it depends on what your body is capable or able to do with strength training, because you may not be able to lift heavy, or you may not be able to run, or you may not be able to do cardio for whatever reason. So many different reasons. But when I say a healthy mix, just so you don't get bored, like I started incorporating hiking, yoga. I haven't tried Pilates yet, but that's on my next thing. And I want to start rock climbing, so start doing other things that you find interesting,
Okay.
just to break it up, from because I don't always like to strength train. I don't. Someday I really get bored sometimes, and I'm like, I don't want to do that today, but I still want to move. So I find something. I may go run, or hike, call my girlfriend and we go hiking. So just have a variety of things that you like to do, and depending on how accessible it is for you, you can just switch it out every now and then. But you definitely want to strength train, especially as we get older. We want to incorporate strength training
Yeah.
and cardio is good for your cardiovascular health and endurance, and the strength is going to help with your bones and your muscles, so
Right.
you need them both.
So you said goals. So if your goal is to lose weight, how would the mix look?
So it depends on, like, if you're overweight, cardio would probably um uh and that's like, because if the more weight you have to lose, it's easier if you're doing cardio, but you still want to, at some point you're going to have to incorporate the weights, right?
Okay.
And then the opposite is, so with me, when I train, if I'm looking to lean out, I do like half and half because I want to be lean. So I may do 3 days cardio, 3 days strength. If I want to bulk up, I cut my cardio, right? And if I just want to work on my cardio, I just pull back on the weights, right?
Okay.
Or just go lighter. But it really just depend on the body, the person's body, and what they're trying to accomplish and how much they can do. It's just so many variables. It's not like a cookie cutter or cut this or do this. It really depends on the person.
And then the other uh, added into the equation, of course, is nutrition.
Yes, right, right. The part, yeah, the biggest part,
Right, exactly.
right? The biggest part,
Now,
definitely.
does that change, like with hormones and all that stuff?
Yes.
Is like, what should women over 40 be looking to add, take away, multiply, divide?
Well,
In their nutrition, like what should we be prioritizing? I'm pretty sure like calcium and
right.
vitamin
Depending on where
C.
you're at, too, right? So in our menopausal stage, and it's if you think about when you're on your menstruation cycle, right? You
I ain't
wanna.
got one no more.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Look, that's a whole live in and of itself. That's a
Right?
beautiful thing.
We
Yes.
say
The
we'll
first
say that.
time you go on
Okay.
vacation and you're like, I could just take whatever I want. I don't gotta think what to take.
Yeah, but we gotta consider all of those changes. A lot of times we're more I'm speaking loosely, but iron, vitamin D, calcium, folic acid, a lot of those. There's so many minerals, vitamins and minerals that we're
Mhm.
not getting, and
Mhm.
that's where we tend to lack a lot of with our nutrition. And you know I eat my protein. I'm not a big shake person. I just like to eat for real. I just prefer I just prefer to eat the food.
Mhm.
So I was just telling somebody that today. They're like, "What kind of supplements do you take?" I'm like, supplements really just sit in my cupboard. I don't really use them. It's my preference. I prefer to just eat, and it's because I was a bodybuilder before, so I'm so used to eating my protein, eating my carbs, and I kind of know how to manage what I need. Um, some things you still need to supplement, but I'm not in that phase to where I don't need it that bad for my body. But um it also depends on your body, what you're missing. But the best advice I would give for that is either get with a registered dietitian or a licensed a doctor, of your doctor, to actually help you with that, because I can only go so far with nutrition. I can
Mhm.
coach you, but I can't prescribe or tell you
Right.
eat this, eat that.
So you talk about protein. So recently, um I've learned, I've taken it's like a body intelligence test.
Mhm.
And the results that I got back recently told me that my body is not properly digesting meat protein.
Mm.
So it's actually, and I could feel this. I knew something has been going on. So the protein is actually sitting in my gut,
Wow.
and the bacteria is actually starts to break it down. So it starts to ferment. So it takes, like, if I eat something on a Monday and I can
Mhm.
feel heavy,
That's
like
a
in my stomach,
wow.
then it takes all week to
Wow.
pretty much digest. It's like a secondary form of digestion. It's not
Yeah.
not, and it sits there. So it basically says that I'm having a buildup of protein, like in my body, and my kidneys
Mhm.
are having trouble, filtering out. Blah 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 blah. I understand everything it's saying, but so now I am learning to change my diet to be less meat heavy. Or if I do eat meat, it's only going to be 1 day a week. And that meat is going to be meat that's already broken down and processed. So something like chicken sausage or
Yeah.
ground beef, because
Brown
then my
beef.
body doesn't have to work so
Yeah.
hard to digest it. So, what other non meat sources of protein? I resort to the shakes now because it's like, all right, like what else? And I don't like the fake. I don't really like the Impossible, the
Yeah.
Boca, the Morning Star. So it's like I'm resorting to protein shakes, or I'm just resorting to eating a lot more fruits and vegetables for the for the fiber,
Yeah.
and they also have protein, but I also strength train. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, in my mind, I get a little worried about, am I getting enough protein? I'm getting enough protein, but sometimes I think we eat too much.
Yeah. I mean, and in your case, I'm not a doctor.
I know.
So yeah.
I
So
don't mean I don't mean for you to diagnose anything, but
yeah.
for
Yeah.
somebody who likes to eat,
But I would
figure
tell
that
you
out.
this. I would tell you this. When I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, didn't know what it was, right? Do you know what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know what it was. And I remember when they gave me literally a grocery bag full of medication to take for the rest of my life. And I was like, that's kind of not gonna work for me. I took it for, for the initial part of it because I was in pain. But I remember when I did the research, so I used to eat a lot of kidney beans, spicy food, because I'm Jamaican, because that's what we do. We island folks, we got to get that.
I think I'm part
um,
Jamaican because I love
right, yeah. um, for me, cabbage, all the things that I liked, anything green would really irritate my, give me a flare. So what I did, I just really listened to my body. As far as protein, I just didn't eat what. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but I had to go with what made my body happy.
hmm
And because of that, I lost a lot of weight, significant amount of, and I've never been overweight. So you can imagine what losing an additional 10 to 15 pounds is on me, right? But I resorted to, like you said, the ground stuff, the ground chicken, ground turkey. At that point, I wasn't big on. I didn't really like do vegan or vegetarian, but that's kind of the direction I went.
hmm
Ate the foods that were more from natural, from the ground, and that's what helped me.
Okay.
But I would definitely, because you can get protein from quinoa, but you get a lot of carbs too, like
Right.
brown stuff. And that's the thing with the vegan and the vegetarian, you're actually having
Trading
to
off.
balance. Yeah, you have to like, okay, if I eat this much of this, I'm getting this much carbs. And if you add more, you're adding more carbs and
Right.
just to get the
Right.
right amount of protein that you need. So it's just a lot of, it's challenging. It's doable, but that's going to take some intentional some intention
Right.
to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I would just listen to my body, go with what the doctor says, and do your own research. I mean, that's the best thing I could tell you, to do your own research and just do what makes your body happy. Eat what makes your body happy.
Of course, I do my own research. That's why I do my own testing. I'm sorry. I'm a nurse. They don't know enough about nutrition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I found this test. Biome is the name of the company, and
Biome.
Viome.
VIO. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna look
So
into
I'm in my. You're supposed to retest every 6 months. So
it. Okay.
I'm in my second retest.
Okay.
um, and I've improved some scores because it tests your gut health, and I mean it has
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So I've improved my gut health a little bit, but I did the higher level test, so it gives you it tells you about your brain health, cognition,
Oh,
heart.
nice.
It tells you all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took the first test, it was the highest test that they had at the time, and my biological age. So it even tests your cellular health. So
Wow.
my body, my cells in my body. So I took the test, I was 46. So it said my biological age was 48. And then my biometric scale at home says I'm 49. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I can live with that. I can live with that. So I take the retest. So now it tests your anxiety, um your cortisol, your
Oh
stress, your
wow.
serotonin,
Okay.
it tests all this stuff. So now I have all of these new added tests. Guess how old I am now?
30.
59. I
59.
was like, hell no.
59. You're
59.
not going in the right
I'm
way.
like, I'm 11 years older than 6 months ago.
Right.
7 months ago, I didn't, my body, well, I don't think my body aged 11. I think now that there's more
There's
tests,
more
there's more
Right,
tests.
results,
right.
that
Yeah,
it gives a clearer picture.
right,
I'm
right.
still not happy, but I'm glad I have this information
Yeah,
to
yeah.
act upon, because I
Right.
do listen to my body, and I knew something was going on. I knew it had to be with protein,
Yeah,
because that's when I felt it. And then now I have the answers,
yeah,
um to make those corrections. But
yeah.
I always wonder. I mean, I know, because we know that there are people out here who strength train and they're vegans and vegetarians.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? We
Yeah.
know the meat that
Can
we
be
eat
done. Yeah.
don't eat meat.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it can be done.
Yeah.
It's going back to that
Yeah.
mindset, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
mindset.
Because if you tell yourself if you can't or you're not going to,
Then
you're more resistant to even doing research, trying anything. So, but like you said, there are vegan bodybuilders, and there's people out here doing eating vegan and living healthy, as we speak. So
Yeah,
it's
and
just
it's
a
and like you
mindset
said,
thing.
it's finding that balance. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because carbs tend to start, taking
yeah,
over, the diet. You
yeah.
become a carbitarian.
I like
exactly.
that. I like that.
That is not. I do have one question. So you were just talking about mindset, and then we talked a little bit before about like cardio and those types of things. And one thing I found is that for me, cardio is more. I guess I mean, okay, it works for the physical body too, right? But I find it more mentally um beneficial
Okay.
for me, right? So it's just like the clarity. Like right now, like at
Yeah.
this moment, I'm like, I don't feel like working out. But literally, if I go get on my bike or my tread right now,
Yeah.
in 45 minutes, I will be wired. Like right now, I'm just like, I just want
Yes.
to go to sleep. I will be wired. My
Yeah.
brain, like the clarity and all of
The
those things
endorphins.
is
Yes.
just definitely there. So that's one thing that I love to just like sort of share. So are there any other things that from the physical fitness perspective that maybe can help people to even get the, kind of energy to do the workouts, right? Like
Yeah.
are there things like maybe you could, I don't know, go outside, take a walk? What are some of the things that
Yeah.
people can
And
do
I
to
mean,
boost that?
yeah, it boils down to you doing an activity that you love that you stick with, right? Dancing is a form of cardio.
Mhm.
Y'all haven't seen me dance, but it's like I've been in the gym just like I back in the day. I walk in dancing and I'm the last one leaving sweating too. But dancing is a good form of cardio. Like doing, and some people like the gentler stuff, like doing yoga, which don't sleep on yoga.
Mhm.
I slept on yoga. I did. I was that girl. I was like, oh, I got this. Nah, not
Mm-mm,
so much. Not
mm-mm.
so much. Check my ego. I was like, oh, okay. All right, you got me. This is 10-pound weight that I know I can lift. So it's just finding activities that you love. Like the past maybe couple years, especially during the pandemic, I started doing a lot more hikes. Got more into running.
Mhm.
Now I want to rock climb because I just can't stay on the
That's
ground
fun.
for some reason. Yeah, but just finding an activity that you and walking.
Mhm.
We sleep on walking. Walking is one of the we walk everywhere.
Mhm.
It's one of the easiest things you can incorporate. Start there. So like you, swimming, if you can swim, But you, that's what brings me clarity too. Like when I'm running, I actually listen to a book. Actually, I listen to a book while I'm working out. So that's, I like to be in that headspace. It's, so you just find that activity that you enjoy and that you're like, I can really stick to this. Because what you find, once you start doing one thing, then you want to do everything.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
just you see something that's, oh, I want to try that. That's me. Oh, I want to try that. Like, so it's just getting started with
Right.
something that you love.
Right.
Dancing, like now I don't go nowhere, so I Zumba. That's a club for me right there.
Mhm.
Like, yes. And honestly, so I have limitations, right? It's funny, I can lift weights, I can do squats, but when I Zumba, for some reason, the lateral movement
Mhm.
messes with my knees.
Single, double,
Yes.
double.
Yes.
Mm.
So I had to like do like baby steps, like looking like I'm trying to be cute. I'm not trying to be cute. I just can't really do
The
the
latter.
way I want to.
Uh-huh.
Not trying to be cute. But yeah, it just boils down to do it, finding that activity and just building upon that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just getting started.
Right.
Getting started, yeah.
We are not alone. We are not
Exactly.
No, we are.
alone in this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We are not alone.
No.
So I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that, that we high achieving women over 40 have
No, we're
clones.
not. Yes, we do.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons, like that. So when I opened my gym, I really didn't have a target audience. I actually, my first client was a male, was a guy, older gentleman, and then it just, but it was all it. They were, yeah, most if not all my clients were over 40,
Mhm.
and like just listening to even men, yeah, I focus on women, but I train everyone. I train men because men have their sets of challenges too. But just listening to everyone and finding that I'm doing so much coaching, like talking about mindset, trying to get them to see themselves the way I see
Yeah.
them. And I was like, man, I love this. Like, I just love how, when my biggest thing was just seeing them accomplish something that they thought they couldn't do, or they thought was just, they've been one way all their lives, and then now they come here. But sometimes you just need that person to hold your hand, to kind of encourage you, to get you to stop thinking all that negative stuff about yourself, and just empower you to step into who you are, like who, because we know who we can be, but sometimes we need somebody there to be like, you know what, you got this, Kiani, you got this, Renee, you got this, Tiffany. And that part for me, just the coaching piece, just like you said, Kiani, knowing, or I think it was you, Tiffany, knowing
Yeah,
that
Tiffany's the coach.
responsibility, like, that responsibility. You know what really got me was when I was coaching this client, and we talked to our clients, and she told me, well, I did everything you said. And I was like, oh snap. Like, so I have to literally be mindful and like of what I'm saying. And I took
Mhm.
that to heart, because I could make or break you. I mean, not in a bad way, but I'm just
Right.
saying, you're hanging on to my every word. So I have to be sure that I'm giving you the correct information. I'm taking care of your body like it's my body,
Mhm.
right? So because you have an obligation to this person, not just financially, right? Now you're in charge of their whole, you've taken on this responsibility, emotional health, mental health, physical health. And that's got to be something serious for you. Like, so for me, it's deep.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
real deep, because like I will hurt if my client said, like, I had a client that said, well, you're not doing anything for me. So hurt my heart. I was like, what? But then she kept going in on me. I was like, okay, wait, let's come back. Let's come back to the drawing board, and let's see. Because at the end of the day, you're facilitating. At the end of the day, you have to put the work in, right? And this is with everything.
Mhm.
So if I'm not doing something that I paid for, that's me not committing to that,
Right.
right? And then
Mhm.
sometimes they expect us to work miracles, and we're not that. We did get the education and everything to help you along the way, but it's a partnership.
Mhm.
It's a
Right,
relationship.
right,
We in this together.
Right.
right.
So, but I'm telling you, when I realized just by that one client, and she was so compliant, she literally did everything, and she lost the weight, and it was just it when she cried when because it's one of those things where all your life you've been this way, and you don't think you can be anything else
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
nobody's ever encouraged you or even pushed you to do that. But the first step is you saying, I'm at least gonna try.
Right.
And
Right.
then
And get
from
the help, like
there,
reach out
yes,
to the
exactly.
to somebody that
Yeah.
can that can actually help, right? And then
Yes.
listen, like you said, like I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna listen. I had I think I might have told Kiani this. I had when I had my gym after it closed, maybe it had been like maybe a year. I get this phone call from someone, a former client, and she is in tears. She is crying. She's literally sitting in her car. She just came out of the doctor's office. The doctor told her she had cancer, and
Mm.
she called me. And I'm like, she goes, what am I supposed to do to stay healthy? And it's like in those moments, that's when you
Yeah.
realize like the
Yeah.
gravity of how much people trust you,
Right.
how
Right.
much they trust you, but not just how much they trust you, but how much they know that you have their ultimate well
Right.
being, that
Yeah.
you leave a certified doctor
Yes. Right.
to call me.
You're the next phone call. Yes, it's true. It's heavy, and not heavy in a bad way, but like that's a big responsibility. And like a lot of times when I don't know something, I'll tell them, look, I'll find out. I don't know because I know that if I tell them the wrong thing, they're
They're
gonna
gonna
believe what they're expecting me to know.
right.
But if I don't know, you respect them enough to say, you know what, I don't know.
I
Let me
have
go
no
figure
idea.
this out.
Right.
Right.
Right. I'm like, what did the
Come
doctor
back.
say?
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do that together. But I
Let's
have
go talk
no
to him together.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So that made me think of my next question, which was how, and I think we talked about this a little bit last time too, but just from your perspective, like what are we doing as people who are helping people, as coaches, as therapists, you're touch therapy, you're giving people, physical wellness plans that impact their mental well-being.
Mhm.
They're giving stuff to us. They're telling us things. They're put how what are you doing to make sure that you're not carrying the weight of everything that everybody's giving you? They leave feeling amazing
Mhm.
because they gave you all the stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you are releasing that stuff?
So up until I think it was during the pandemic, up until that point, I did not have a coach. Ever since then, I'm coached up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they need me. My first time when I was in the military, I was going through therapy, and I asked that question of my therapist. She was like, I have a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why you need a therapist? But it makes sense,
Mhm.
right? It's like it's a chain, and I'm sure her therapist probably has someone that
Mm-hmm.
she has, and so on. So we need each other. We need
Mhm.
support. Everyone needs the support. As much as sometimes we may think we don't, we do. And
Right.
I read this book called Dodging Energy Vampires. Have you guys read that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you should check that out. But it's about the same thing, just people's energies, bad energy, good energy, but you absorbing all of that, and we hold on to that. So this is where inflammation, this is where this tightness in our hips, this is where this full chest, our heart, or we are in pain because we're holding on to so much. And I will tell you this just recently, and Kiani can, because I've talked about it a little bit, just I've had to learn to release some things, and that comes with setting boundaries. You have to learn to release, and a lot for me is, say Kiani and I are friends. I have an expectation of my friend just the way she has an expectation of me. And sometimes, like, she may not have the same value of our friendship or our relationship like I do, but it's so heavy for me. So the to break ties sometimes, that's a lot. And I've had to do that within the last year. Just really set some boundaries and put myself first, my mental. And I am like, it's almost like you elephant, you crawled out from under an elephant, right? And I won't say that I'm completely through it, but I'm in a much better place because now I know. See, I need my boundaries. Right? I need to know what my boundaries are with people. I need to understand, and a lot of times we are shown, like, I think Maya Angelou is the one that said, when people show you who they are, believe
Believe
them the first time.
Mhm.
Well, I wasn't believing folks the first time. And you have to learn to do that, and that's part of you taking care of yourself. It's not always going to be a popular decision to break away,
Mhm.
but it's probably necessary, right? And that all that, I just really like, that's one of the things I advocate for now. Like, the whole self-care thing is not just about, no offense, Kiani, but getting a massage or anything, but it's
No, I
also
get it.
right. It's also taking care of your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, because there's so many things pulling at you in so many different ways. You have to really take that time to center yourself and be like, okay, and for us, it's even more important.
Right.
It really is, because that's when you have the nervous breakdown, your body, the cancer coming in your body, you have a back pain, all the inflammation is what our body is holding on to, and that needs to be released.
Mhm. Woo! We got a word. We got a word. We got a word. We got a
So
word.
we gotta set those
Those
boundaries.
with those boundaries. So we're going to wrap up. I ask all of my guests to provide 3 touch points to leave the audience with. So I'm going to get Renee's touch points. I don't know how it's going to look on the screen. Oh, okay, there we go. Woo, 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 woo. Oh,
Yeah.
my other picture ain't show up right. Okay, whatever. It looks That's okay. It looks like an ocean. I'm trying to visualize. Okay, kind of a peaceful look there, but it was supposed to be like an apple or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
It was supposed to represent
Just
nutrition.
visualize.
yeah, I thought it was a forest or like we were gonna play
Yes.
Mario Brothers or
No, it
something.
was supposed to represent
Oasis.
nutrition. Now it's going to represent rest. Looking at
Yes.
the
Yes.
ocean. That's what
Yes.
it's going to represent. So, all right, Renee, let's go over. Take us through your 3 touch points that you want to leave everybody with tonight.
Okay, so the first one where I said learn to listen, I used to say just learn to listen to your body, but responding is where we fall short. So we'll have something wrong with us, but we won't go check it out. So that's the acknowledge that there's, and yes, it may be something small, but still, you never know. Sometimes it's those small things that's really wreaking havoc in our bodies. So get it checked out, and then you take it for what it is. But just recognize and get it checked out, and make yourself a priority and set boundaries. Like I told you, I'm a big advocate for this. I love that book, Atomic Habits, because that's what's helping me to prioritize and creating those boundaries that I need so that I can be healthy overall, and show up where I need to.
And
And
I think too, that's key when we're talking about time. Sometimes our time gets in the way because we don't set those boundaries.
right.
You know what I mean? I think that may be a little issue with me. You know what I mean?
Well, we always can improve, right? Always room
Yes,
for
we
growth.
we can we can
Yes.
always improve. I'm
Yes.
going to work more on setting those boundaries to reclaim the time
Yes.
that I need to prioritize
Yes.
myself.
You should see my calendar, my phone calendar. I love Google's calendar because it has the color codes. So I literally, I
y'all,
love it.
y'all, and so last week, Tiffany talked about scheduling everything. I'm gonna have to schedule when I
Yes.
go pee. I'm gonna have to schedule when I brush my teeth. Like,
Yes.
y'all, oh my gosh, y'all killing me with
Yes.
this
It
scheduling
helps.
stuff.
Just do it, Kiani. Just
Oh
jump,
my
jump on the
gosh.
bandwagon. Just jump on the
Is
bandwagon
that
already.
the new boundary setting?
We're here
Listen,
for you.
I use the calendar on my phone,
Yes.
and I have a planner.
And
The
the
planner
planner.
the
Yes.
planner gets it in my head, and this is the reminder.
Yes.
I need it in
You're
both places.
actively writing it
Ex-
out. Yes.
Yes, it's
Yes.
something magical about the
Yes,
actively
And
I'm
my
right.
stressed.
whiteboard. And
I
putting
got
it
my
on
whiteboard right here.
Oh my god.
We need
I am
reminders.
I'm totally the unicorn in this picture. I'm totally the unicorn in this picture.
We
That's
need
why I love unicorns,
reminders.
because I am obviously a different person. Okay. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Just try it. Just try
All right. Point number 3.
it. Just take time to rest. Get enough sleep and hydrate. Rest. It's simple, but it's difficult, as we know, for us, for high achieving women, because we always, even if we talked about this last night, you're physically laying down, but your mind is still working, thinking, doing a whole bunch. So try to quiet that and just rest. Get your body the rest it needs, and sleep. Definitely, we need to sleep and hydrate.
I am definitely trying to quiet my mind,
Yes,
because if
yes,
we really, when we calm our nervous system and calm our minds, that's where healing, that's
yes,
where growth,
yes,
that's where all the things that we need to be a better us takes
yeah,
place.
yeah.
Um,
Meditation helps with that, and
yeah,
that's not an easy thing. It's easier
no,
said than done.
it
'Cause
is. It
my
is.
mind's ran away from me so many times. Like,
It
oh,
is.
I'm back.
It is. It is. So I'm starting with at least breathing.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Breathing is another thing. Yeah.
I'm going to probably have to have a coach for meditation, to
Yeah.
guide me, because
Yeah.
the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Definitely.
that's a
Yeah. But
tough
meditation is
thing,
one of those things you want to take it in small increments,
right?
really. And that's something that you really have to be patient with.
Just like
It's,
yoga.
yeah. Oh, but
Yoga,
I feel like yoga compared to meditation is easier.
Yeah, and then there's different types of yoga. So like
Yes.
me, okay,
Yes.
so
Because you
even
have
my yoga is high energy.
yes.
I do Bikram. So when I have done yoga, I do the 90-minute hot
Yeah.
yoga, right?
hmm
Because I just can't do something relaxing, right?
20,
I
26
gotta
times
go
2.
I gotta go to hot yoga, but
Right.
that's the only way I could do. When I try to do like just traditional, like a nice restorative
She got to do
yoga,
the high
Yes.
achieving yoga.
I
I know, right?
I feel like when I'm sitting there, I feel like literally, I feel like I want to
Yeah.
get up and do jumping jacks. Like it's the weirdest thing. I have this nervous
Listen,
energy.
I'll give you a quick
I
joke.
can't do it.
The first time I did restorative yoga, right? I literally fell asleep and I was snoring and I woke myself up. I was like, did I just snore? She's like, it's okay. I was like, no, it's not. If I just snored, it is not okay.
Was it in Shavasana?
She's like, your body needs the rest. Just relax. I was like, no. Now my mind was like,
Oh, you ain't the only one that has snored. I've snored in Savasana all the time, a lot. So you're not the only one. Well, thank you for joining us, Renee. I really enjoyed this
so fun.
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
We haven't gotten to talk like this in
I'm
a
in a
long
while.
time. I know. Well, I see you in April.
Yeah, no, I'm going to Passover. I know. I have
Okay.
Passover.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All
I
right.
know. I wish it was like, after my Passover,
Yes, that's
because
okay.
it would be nice to see everyone.
It would, it would. But
Yes.
we'll still keep in touch. We'll still keep in
Yes.
touch.
Yes.
I still will be seeing you for a couple more days.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Miss Tiffany.
Thank you
I'm
for
gonna see you
having me.
next week.
Yes.
Same bat
Nice
time,
meeting you,
same bat
Tiffany.
Nice
channel.
meeting you too.
Next week, we are going to be talking about financial wellness with Miss Anita Johnson, who is a financial behaviorist.
Wow.
So she is going to help us women be well with our money. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
I bring 2 notebooks.
Oh,
No,
and then
right?
the final Monday, March 27th, we are going to have my fellow colleague and registered nurse. She's an aesthetic nurse. Her name is Dominique Stuckey. She will be talking about body wellness. And she already sent me like what she wants this topic to be about because she is so fabulous already. So I know I remember pop. I remember seeing something about pop. So we're gonna be popping something. Popping some type of body wellness. I don't know. But trust me, she gonna bring it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Good
This was
night.
fun.
Yes.
And nice joining in.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
That was so fun, Kiani.
Yes.